Hello and welcome to Continuing Education Adult Day School orientation video. What we'll cover today is understanding different pieces of software or applications that you will need to have a successful term. Now to get started, I will begin with google.ca, and within Google just type in a search engine HWDSB and then Hub. So that's Hamilton Wentworth District School Board Hub. Once you click enter with that, the first option that you will get here is HWDSB students. We're going to click on that. And what we see here is different applications that you have access to. And what we're going to cover in the orientation package and orientation video itself is these top four here. So you have Outlook email, the Hub, Teams for Education, and Google Suite. Now, starting with Outlook email, all of you with your registration with the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board, you have an Outlook email that is given to you from the school board itself, which will be your username and then at hwdsb.on.ca. Having said that, for all these different applications, you need to have your username and password. So make sure you have your username and password, and then we can move on. Also, feel free to pause at any point these videos so that you can catch up and go with whatever I am telling you to do throughout the video. So, one thing to keep in mind is whenever I click on these, I am already logged in and my username and password is already saved. For the first time that you log in to these different applications, you will have to agree to terms and conditions. You have to log in using your username and password. So things might look a little bit different when you first click on these applications. Okay. So having said that, we're going to begin with Outlook email. So once I click on it, a new window will pop up, which will be my email, my school board email. One thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure that this is you. You want to always make sure that you are inside of your own email and not someone else, especially if you are sharing a computer, sharing a device with other people. Then you want to ensure that you are using the proper username and you are using the school board email. Now, we're going to stress to you that using your school board email once communicating with teachers is extremely important, only because it ensures that we will receive your emails, and emails will not be sent to our junk mail, which sometimes happens when people use other email domains other than the Hamilton School Board one. Also, when you click on new message, one thing to keep in mind is only when you use school board email, you don't need to remember our email address, but rather what you can do is just type your teacher's name or other students' names, and because all of our emails are within the same domain, our emails will pop up automatically. For example, if I want to send an email to Yvonne, I'm just going to type in my first name, EVON, and I will be the first one that is there, and you can tell because I am staff. Let's say I want to send another email to Jean, so I'm going to type in Jean, and Jean Gibbard is right there. So I don't need to know Yvonne or Jean's full emails. All I need to do is find out their names, and then it will populate right away. This is not something that you will be able to do without using the school board email. So that's why we try to stress for all our students to use school board emails over other emails. Having said that, always put in a subject. Okay, so within a subject, you want to always include either your course code or your lesson or what you are talking about. Okay, so in this case, something like that. Whenever you are writing your email, always direct it to whoever you are sending it to, as well as, and this gets confusing to a lot of teachers because we need to understand who is sending it and for what course they are sending this email regarding. Because we do not have just 1 or 2 courses that we teach many different courses. So it's very important for you to send us exactly what course you are asking questions or commenting on. So write your name. If you're using your school board email, your name will automatically be there, but just write your name. I am something like that. Okay, so that way we know who you are, we know what course code you are asking a question about, and we know specifically what you are talking about. And at that point, you will go on, and then you can talk about your specific issues. It's very important that you tell us the course code, because if we receive an email without knowing what course code you are referencing, at that point, we will send you a follow-up email asking you to clarify what course you are speaking or emailing us about, so that to get rid of that discrepancy and to get rid of that time wasted in between, just in the first email, always write down what course code you are emailing us about, as well as the specific lesson and module you are talking about. So having said that, there are different features to go on. It's standard with all other emails. You have the send button, the attachment. You can send attachments through either the hub or through your computer. It's very similar to all other domains, whether you use Gmail, whether you use Outlook, whether you use iCloud, Yahoo, whatever other domain you use, it's very similar in understanding. Now that we're done with the email, let's move on to the hub. And the hub is where you will be using this application every single day, because this is where you will find all of your course content, your quizzes, your tests, your projects, your assignments that you have to submit will all be found in the hub. And the hub is where your course will be located. So let's click on that. Now, you will be asked once again to log in using your username and password. For me, because I have previously logged in, it will look different because it's not asking me to use my username and password. Having said that, this is the view that you should have with your courses all being over here. So you should have 1 or 2 courses depending from Adult Day School, depending on how many courses you have registered for. Having said that, one thing to keep in mind is your courses are found here, but also by clicking on these 9 squares here. You click on that and you should see all your courses in detail here. Let's click on one of them so we can dig into. So think of this, the main page here, as being your school. And then once you click on your specific courses, that's when you go into the course itself. So for now, we're going to go into a course called OLC 401, and that's the Ontario Literacy course, or Ontario Secondary School Literacy course. Now, having said that, the first page here will be the announcements page, or the home page. Always look at the announcements that are posted by the teacher. It's very important because this is one way that the teacher is able to communicate with the students regarding any updates or any changes to the schedule, dates, important timings that the students should be aware of. So keep that in mind. Always look at the announcements whenever there are updates. Second tab here is the content. And in the content is where you'll find your modules, which are units, your lessons, your quizzes, your projects, and everything else included in the course. So here you can see Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4. So your courses should have 4 modules included. Let's click on Module 1 to begin with. Within Module 1, in this specific case, in this course, you have 5 lessons and a unit project. Now, not all courses will have this exact same structure, so keep that in mind. Some of them will only have 5 lessons, others will have 5 lessons and a project, others will have 5 lessons and a test. So it might vary in the way it looks, and the structure might be different. So let's click on Lesson 1. You click here, And these are all belonging into lesson 1. And you could notice because of the way it's indented. First thing is there's a video, and then there's a lesson here, another lesson, and a third lesson, all within lesson 1. So after you have gone through this, if you look here, this is a quiz, so lesson 1 quiz. You're going to click on that, and for whenever you have a quiz that you have to submit, it's very important that you read the details pertaining to the quiz before you click Start Quiz. Some things to keep in mind is how much time you have for this quiz. In this case, you have unlimited time. There is no time limit. It gives you a required time that you may need to complete this quiz. Again, that's an important detail to keep in mind. Another thing to be aware of is how many attempts you have. In this case, you have 1 attempt and that's it. You have no further attempts after the first time you submit the quiz. And how many times you have completed this quiz. There might be other restrictions that you might see. For example, there might be a date that you have to complete this quiz and no later after that. There might be a time stamp given to this quiz. So keep in mind all the details before you click Start Quiz. So once I click Start Quiz, I will begin the quiz for this specific lesson. Now, not all lessons that you see will have a quiz. Some other ones might have a project. For example, lesson 5, you have to conduct a project. Having said that, there's something called a Dropbox. And within the Dropbox is where you submit all of the written, typed, or photographed work that you have to submit. For example, when you click here, a new window will appear similar to a quiz. In here, you can submit your you can submit your assignments, whether in any format, whether it be a Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, it could be a photo, whatever it is that you are submitting, by clicking Add a File, and then you will locate that file and upload it on here. Having said that, always leave a description about what you are submitting. Something like that in order to keep the teacher aware about what exactly they will be viewing once they click on the assignment. After you click Submit, you will have submitted the project. Over here, it's important to keep in mind all the different tabs that you have. So Course Home we already covered. Content is where you will find all of your lessons, your quizzes, your projects, anything pertaining to the course. Assignments, if you click there, you will see all the assignments that are due for this course. In grades, you will see the grades that you are given for this course. Quizzes are all the quizzes you must complete in order to complete this course. And use this time in orientation to investigate the different aspects of the course, so that you are aware of where you can find everything, where you can access the quizzes, the assignments, the content. One thing to keep in mind with the content, there are 4 modules, each with 5 lessons, with a total of 20 lessons. Okay. So again, the structure might be different for different courses, so always keep that in mind. Don't be afraid if you do not see any of these, but rather you see an orientation quiz. The orientation quiz will be a quiz for you to pass in order to get access to the remainder of the course. We must ensure that all of our students understand the different software that are available in order to enhance the students' learning abilities. Next, we're going to go into Teams for Education. Now, this is a software that is included inside of the Hub, but you may have seen it as a downloaded application. And if you wish to do so, you are able to download Microsoft Teams on your own desktop and then use that instead of using the Hub application. For now, we'll just stick with the Hub application. So once I click on there, Now, once again, I'm already signed in, so I do not need to sign in once again using my username and password. For you, however, you may be asked to sign in once again. Some things to keep in mind, okay? This is a great tool for the teacher and the students to interact live. Even though this is online learning, we will have courses and we will have lessons where the teacher and the students are able to interact with one another. If you have questions, concerns, issues, or queries, this is a great time to approach your teacher and ask them. There will also be lessons that will be presented using Teams. So this is a great tool for students in order to interact with their teachers or other students as well. One thing to keep in mind is within Teams, this is where you will see all the different channels. Within the different channels, you will see selected courses that you are enrolled in. Always go into the Teams meetings that you have a course in, and avoid going into Teams meetings that you are not in that specific course for. Having said that, here we have just one general course. However, you might see other populated courses on there specific to what courses you registered in. Here you have assignments. Assignments isn't something that we offer on Teams because, as I said, everything is found in the hub itself. So having said that, assignments, you may not see assignments here, but that is because the hub contains all your assignments and projects. Same thing with files. Files are all contained within the hub, and that's why we do not use it. One thing to keep in mind is the calendar. Now, this calendar looks empty right now, but it's very important for you to keep in mind your calendar to know when you have lessons and meetings and when you do not. Having said that, your teacher should populate all the Teams meetings that you will have throughout the week. You should also receive on your school board email all the applicable Teams meetings and their times. So make sure you always check your email, your school board email, to know exactly when Teams meetings are scheduled for. Having said that, once you see something like this, and you want to join that meeting, you're going to click on join. In this case, I am late to this meeting. You can tell because of the orange line indicates what time of day we are at currently. This meeting started before the current time right now. However, you could still join. Once you click join, this will appear. Here you want to either turn your video on or off and your audio on or off, depending on how you want to enter the meeting. If you want to enter with your video on, this should be on. We highly recommend that you do not come in with your audio on. You always have it off. You always have it muted before you enter. Once I click join now, this is when I actually join the meeting. In this case, I am the only participant. There are no other people in this Teams meeting. However, at times you will see this populated with the teacher and other students as well. You can see who is in this meeting by clicking on show participants here. Here you can see currently in this meeting is myself, Ivan Surisho, and I've invited Jean. However, she is not in this meeting as of yet. If for some reason you want to turn on your camera, this is how you do it. You click on this and your camera will, your webcam or whatever camera device you have registered to your computer will turn on. If you want to unmute yourself, if you want to say something, then you will click on unmute, and then you are able to speak and everyone in the meeting will be able to hear you. That's why we always want to ensure that you join the meeting having your mute option on, so that no one is able to hear you once you sign in, and only unmute yourself only when you want to speak or are able to speak. If you want to share your screen for some reason, if you want the other people in the meeting to see something on your computer, this is the button to do it. Once you click on this, options will be given in order to share your screen. So if I have other windows opens, let's say I have Microsoft Word document open, I would be able to share that so that everyone in the meeting would be able to see that specific screen. Or there's a Microsoft Whiteboard. When you click on that, you receive an option. Once it turns on, there are always some technical difficulties, so let me just try that again. There you go. So here it's whoever turned it on is able to present only, or everyone in this meeting is able to collaborate. Let's say collaborate. At this point, with this whiteboard, we are able to write whatever we need in accordance with the lesson. So if you need to do math or science equations, or you need to draw diagrams, this is a great tool to use to collaborate with other students or your teacher in order to enhance your learning. Here you have raise hand. Now keep an eye on my name over here. Once I click this, you see a hand emoji to the right hand side. What that is telling the teacher and other participants is I have either a question or a concern or an issue or a statement I want to speak my mind about. So once the teacher sees your hand, they will allow you a chance to speak. This is a better tool than just unmuting and speaking over other students or the teacher. Or if you have a specific issue or a question you want to raise, you can type it out by clicking on this. And in here will be a detailed conversation about the course. So let's say you didn't understand something. You will explain to the teacher that you did not understand it. Once the teacher sees this, again, with this you can be informal. It's a chat, right? So you don't have to be extremely formal as you would in emails or in your assignments. And this is a chat, so you can be a little bit informal when addressing certain questions or issues or queries. Having said that, once the teacher or other students, depending on who you're speaking to, sees this, they're able to respond accordingly. So that covers it with the Teams. The last application that I want to go over with you is Google Suite. Google Suite is a very useful tool to use for whoever does not have a specific software within their own PC pertaining to either Microsoft Office tools such as Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel, all other software that you may need for effective school year but do not have. This is a very good tool for us to use in order to practice and in order to type all our work. For example, in my drive, I have a lot of different lessons that I've been working on and showing with my students. Having said that, in order to use this, you are going to click on New. Here you have many different options. We recommend that you have a folder for every single course that you are registered for. I already have an orientation folder here that I created, and in this folder I have one project. Now let's say that I want to create another secondary project. I'm going to click on New. If it is a typed out project, for example a paragraph, or I have to answer questions in a specific format, I'm going to use Google Docs. Now if you could see, Google Docs looks very similar to Microsoft Word. Having said that, I always want to give myself a title. So let's say this is Lesson 2 Project. Right? And I want to begin by typing my specific lesson. Okay? And question 1. So, and then I would begin typing my lesson. Now, keep in mind up here, you see this cloud with a check mark on the top right, top left-hand corner. Whenever I type something, you could see it's saving and saved. The good thing about this is it saves automatically. So you no longer need to worry about constantly, did I save my project? When was the last time I saved it? Because as you can see, it saves every time you edit or change something within the document, it saves it automatically. Now, let's assume that I exit from here for whatever reason, and I exit from here. In order to access that specific document once again, I'm going to go back to my orientation folder, and it's right here, Lesson 2 project. I'm going to double click, and I can continue exactly where I left off. I know it was in the folder orientation because it says here, Lesson 2 project in orientation folder. Now, whenever I go and edit this document, it will automatically save in that folder. Google Docs isn't the only application that we offer. We also offer Google Sheets. If you're familiar with Microsoft Excel, you will automatically notice that this is very similar to Microsoft Excel. We also have Google Sheets. Once again, this looks a lot like Microsoft PowerPoint. Now, use this time in orientation to go through all what is offered in Google Suites, so that you are very familiar with it, so that you can enhance your learning throughout the term. Now, that covers these 4 different applications that you will be using throughout the term and future terms, future semesters within continuing education adult day school. We hope this orientation was very informative, and we hope that you have a very successful term. Goodbye.